Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your boy Seth, programmer man, or Pinpin. I don't know what to call myself on this channel. I got the boy Parrot, and we're
Hey,
gonna be doo doo cockeying all over this dummy doo doo video. But a little backstory. I made a tweet, and I was like, "Death battle, like, stop." Hiring these unqualified random goons to do your Naruto and Dragon Ball research. Like, let me on, right? Some people, maybe they call me a Dragon Ball fanboy. I don't care, But most people, even people on other sites, tend to respect me for my Naruto scaling quite a bit. So I was really surprised when, like, all of the death battle research guys, like part of their community, got really salty and started, like, harassing me on the post. They're claiming I was, like, attacking them or something, and it's like, all I said was goon, and, like, goon is a really, like, light-hearted insult, and, it's not, like, really super personal or anything. Like, it's kind of like a childish just poke. Like, these guys are just your goons, right? It's not really...
nah, you got to them,
supposed to be that
Seth.
serious.
It's too much.
Yeah, like, they're acting like I was, like, really harassing Death Battle or something. It was just kind of memey. And it got to the point where these Death Battle kids were, like, threatening to, like, dox me in their server and shit. And I was like, damn, I was like, why are they so insecure? And, like, an actual Death Battle researcher was, like, liking some of their tweets and stuff at me. I was like, whoa, like, what is happening? And then, we saw this video that came out right after, and I think we learned why. So, yeah, let's just get right into that. So the first few problems I had with the video is I just some basic criticism. You guys are using, like, manga panda scans in your video,
Top
and it looks like
quality
they were
source.
rendered. Yeah, they were rendered by, like, a Game Boy Color or something. Like, I would recommend trying to use, like, the official, like, Viz for Naruto. Like, you can kind of tell because the official scans are kind of, like, grayish. They're not, like, pitch black or anything. I'd recommend using those.
And they're also
That's just
translated
for
correctly.
Yeah, exactly. Those manga panda scans are often heavily mistranslated. There's one moment where you guys said Amaterasu can burn the sun. I'm assuming this is just like a slip of the tongue, like you're trying to say the Amaterasu can burn as hot as the sun, rather than it can actually burn the sun away. Like, that might be a little bit stronger than you're letting on. And there's this weird moment where you guys said that Sasuke did a feat that was 35 through 55 teratons, and then you showed, like, a video game scene. We're not too sure if you're actually using a video game, like, feat for this, or if you're just, like, using video game footage as just, like, a background example. Because, I mean, if you use the video game, Kaguya's, like, universal plus because of the fucking... her time-space has, like, cosmoses and shit in it. But yeah, other than that...
It's hilariously
my
low-end as well. Even the GB has some feats in the pentatons,
Yeah.
or multi-continental level.
Yeah, exactly. So, I guess the first thing to go over is, for some reason, and I don't know what this is all about, you guys really like using the Light Fang as, like, the light speed Naruto feat, and that Light Fang feat's not even light speed. It's like, it doesn't calc that way at all, so...
The reason is just because the Light Fang has to move further than Naruto does to avoid it. Even saying that he's not just aim dodging and ducking the laser, which is what it looks like, but let's say he isn't, the Light Fang still had to go further than Naruto did in the same time frame, and so that would make him performing a relativistic feat. It's around 40% the speed of light. But it's hilarious downplay for that particular feat anyway.
Right, and it's downplayed because there's obviously way better light speed scaling. Now, what you'll notice throughout the majority of this death battle video is they constantly go to statements, and they interpret it in a very, like, high-end way, like, every single time. But they don't seem to really give that same courtesy to Naruto, and Naruto has way more high-end statements that you could use if you're going to go by that logic. For instance, Obito's Sword of Nunoboko literally created the world, and you can imply that, like, the actual Ten Tails created the universe and stuff like that. Like, there's way higher end statements for Naruto, and it's like, why are you nitpicking?
The big clincher
in this case,
they gave as well
yeah.
was that the speed wasn't that different. And the
Right.
source of Hiei's speed scaling was lightning timing, which is about Mach 1400. And then they used some weird power level statement to try and say that because this other character had a power level that was 80 times higher, he must be 80 times faster, which I'm sure you'll all see problems with that. Like, using similar logic, we could say that Farmer with a shotgun in Dragon Ball is like thousands of times the speed of sound just because Frieza is only, 2 million times stronger than him or whatever.
Yeah, you can't really use power levels to really gauge things very particularly. They're mostly just a tool just to say this guy it could probably beat up this guy in the same show. Like, it's not to say like an actual difference between them. So for example, like say you have, Sensui, he has a power level of 30,000, and just, for argument's sake, maybe he's planet level or whatever. And then you have demons who have, like, power levels, like, in the 100 range or something, and maybe they can destroy, like, a few beams in a warehouse, right? Are those demons going to be, like, in the city levels or, like, country levels? Like, how high are they going to get because they scale to Shinobu's, like, power level? And you also can't just scale speed that way either. Like, if there's any inconsistency with them directly scaling, you can't assume a scale. Like, the scale can jump around however it wants. And this is similar in Dragon Ball, right? Like, in early Dragon Ball, the differences between power levels are insane, and then later on they become more linear differences. Like, you can't really just assume the values of the level, so it's really strange to go down that route of logic.
And I suppose that's the biggest gripe that we have, is how badly represented the speed was. So if we give them, let's say we grant them everything, even though it's hilariously wanked for Hiei, and we say we give him this 31,000 mark result that they got, even saying that Sasuke is only light speed, he would be 28 times faster than Hiei, which is a huge difference. I know it doesn't sound like much, but 28 times is a lot. Like, that's like getting hit 28 times before you hit once. And Sasuke was this fast, arguably as early as the 5 Kage Summit. There are like a few decent statements for the Raikage's lariat being like the speed of light, and Mifune also has a statement in the data books saying that he slashes at the speed of light, and Sasuke was able to parry one of his slashes. Naruto...
Yeah, and you guys are using the data books as well.
Yes,
so.
and of course. And even better than that, KCM Naruto is shown to be significantly faster than the Raikage, and that KCM Naruto should be slower than EMS Sasuke, who's later able to keep up with the KCM too.
Yep. And even characters like Haku literally reflect themselves off mirror at the speed of light, and it's stated in the data book and implied by the actual show. There's just way more, like, things that are light speed, like Darwee's laser circus is like a light refracting off of water particles in midair to change trajectory to hit their opponent and stuff like that. It's way more blatant with Naruto than Yu Yu Hakusho. And I'm also surprised that you guys kept saying Naruto wasn't planet level, but you kept saying that Yu Yu Hakusho was. And this was a really interesting, like, way to go down, because there's only like 3 things they really used. They used Genkai's statement saying if Yusuke wanted, he might be able to, like, destroy the world, but before he did, he should come visit her, which doesn't really mean anything other than he might be a life wiper, like, because world can just mean society. It doesn't necessarily mean you're a planet buster if you're going to destroy the world.
It's also super inconsistent with how strong they actually are at that point in the series. It's just a lot earlier on than a lot of these higher end feats.
Yeah, and then Shinobu, he has, like, this statement where at, like, 50%, he was shaking some cave walls, and then it's mistranslated. It's mistranslated to say it's too stressful for the planet, but in the actual translation, it just says, I shouldn't use this, it's too stressful, foo-foo. He's, like, laughing, and it's like, that's, like, such a weird interpretation. Even if you just granted him that, there's way more blatant feats in Naruto that can be scaled to planet level, and more blatant statements as well. Like, there's that new Boruto guide that says a casual Bijudama from Naruto could blow up the planet, right? Like, stuff like that. Or Kaguya making a expansive truth-seeking orb that's going to engulf, a star and, like, her entire time space that has a moon revolving around a planet.
Things like Toneri as well. the castle on the moon
Yeah.
was stated to survive the moon's collision with the Earth, which was going to destroy it, and he easily cut it in half. And there's also the databook statement for Kinshiki being able to destroy planets.
There's just so many more statements that you can use. And, like, if you want to go with, like, feats or something, like, there's still more planet-level feats in Naruto as well. So it's just really strange to me. And the feat that they use for planet-level Yu Yu Hakusho, it was like, a beam went into the air, and then they calced how much, like, air it had to move and how fast it sprung into the sky. But then it's like, Naruto still has better, like, with, like, Madara's, tree feet and so on. Maybe you could explain some of that, but...
Yeah, I mean, there's a big problem with the calc that they used. So firstly, they say that the beam itself is a colossal, like, 4 million meters long, something along those lines. They give a range. And they give a very odd time frame of 0.6 seconds. So what they're doing is they're calculating the amount of air that has to be moved out of the way by the beam, which is totally legitimate. I've done tons of calcs like this before. Air actually takes a serious amount of energy to move. This is why explosions eventually end. Otherwise, they would just keep going forever. But is there air 4 million meters into the sky in the demon world? How do they know this? How are they even calculating this? And it's very suspicious in another way as well, because it seems incredibly inflated. There's a similar feat performed by Obito during the war when he creates the Shinju tree, and it kind of like springs up near instantaneously up into the sky. And he's not just moving air out of the way, he's actually putting a whole tree there, and it's over 1 million times less impressive than this calc. I've done another similar calc for Child Emperor and One Punch Man as well, that only came out around mountain level, which would be, trillions of times less impressive than this. So it definitely seems like they're giving a really, really high end to this calculation. And there are numerous other feats in Naruto more impressive. Like, Madara just spreading the Shinju out more has been calculated to 100 times higher than even this inflated calc that they've given for this beam.
Right. And then they say, Sasuke doesn't scale to Kaguya's planet-level attack, which is actually, like, a large planet downplaying because it has to engulf a moon in that whole time space, and large star level normally probably downplaying as well.
Yeah, so we see a star in Kaguya's realm that she, A, must have created, and B, must be about to destroy with the expansive truth-seeking orb.
As Zetsu implies, yeah. And to say that Sasuke doesn't scale because Kaguya needed all the chakra from the Shinobi Alliance, did you watch Naruto? Like, did you see how strong the Shinobi Alliance was? You do realize that Naruto, just by tapping all of the Shinobi, amplified them by, like, 3 times the chakra Kakashi has normally, like a Hokage-level fighter. Like, it's not... His chakra alone is what caused them all to survive, getting hit by the 10 tails, like, cataclysm. He was defending them all from Madara and Obito while amping every single one of them. The Shinobi Alliance is not anything. Like, they really just cannot scale even to just a fraction of the 9
it's a
tails.
drop in the bucket.
Let alone, a 10 tails plus the God Tree amps plus, Kaguya. It's just like, I don't understand why you're acting like it's so out of their range to scale to that. Other than that, I think the most important thing they try to say is that he has resistances to Sasuke's attacks, so they can't affect him no matter what, right? So I think you should go into that one, but...
Yeah, so they basically use things like Hiei clashing with very early level lightning-based attacks, and then they go on to say, well, he can clearly deal with lightning-based attacks, like if a much more powerful lightning or electricity-based attack hits him, it just wouldn't do anything, or when he is capable of tanking fire attacks, he can just tank any fire attack, whatever. Cthulhu comes down from the sky and breathes holy fire upon him, and it doesn't matter, I resist fire, Cthulhu, you can't hurt me, ridiculous scaling. And it gets even worse when they talk about mind hacks as well, because they essentially use the idea that, the Jigan Eye protected Hiei from this one form of mind hacks, so it's just going to protect him from Sasuke's massive arsenal of mind hacks. Like, even if we say that even regular genjutsu, right, is a form of mind hacks, and it can completely alter all of reality around you on a very extreme level. It's certainly not weak, and it is absolutely nothing compared to things like the Tsukuyomi. Jinchuriki are capable of breaking out of basic genjutsu, but they can't break out of Sharingan genjutsu like the Tsukuyomi, and Sasuke has genjutsu beyond that, because the dojutsu powers of the Rinnegan are stated to surpass those of the Sharingan. So clearly, I don't see how this is like a Jinchuriki, right, who can break out of normal genjutsu. That's not going to protect you from the Tsukuyomi or even better genjutsu.
Yeah, and to add on to your point there, it's, the Sharingan is literally a counter to Genjutsu, and the Mangekyo Sharingan can still mind hacks people with a Sharingan. Itachi puts Kakashi in a torture chamber for 3 days' time, and the Tsukuyomi, what people don't understand, it's literally like shooting like an infinite illusionary universe into your brain, where like the caster can infinitely just torture you however they want until you die. It's not like a normal genjutsu, so just resisting a genjutsu or mind hacks doesn't mean you resist like a universe being put into your brain. Like, you have to show that you have resistance on that level. And another thing too is that, in a weird way, the infinite Tsukuyomi is way beyond that, because Obito has Tsukuyomi, that's the whole plot of Road to Ninja and the whole reason he wants to reflect it on the moon. Itachi has Tsukuyomi, and Madara has Tsukuyomi. But then Sasuke dodges an amplified infinite Tsukuyomi, which is projecting this like infinite illusionary universe into every single brain in the Shinobi Alliance, and Sasuke is able to resist it. So it's just weird to imply he has that resistance without evidence. So it's like what Parrot said too. It's like, imagine like some being with like some outer-versal mind hacks that's beyond all human comprehension came in, and Hiei is just like, sorry, but Jigan I though, and like
Cosmic
he just
Armor
completely
Superman
negs it.
just comes down from the sky. He's like larger than the entire universe. It's like, I will now mind hacks you, Hiei, and he's like, nah, I got that third eye, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. It's just, anyway, that's really, I think, all we really need to say for the video. Those are my thoughts. I know a lot of people are just going to be, let's do a debunk. Come on, where's my debunk? I'm sorry, well, here it is. All right, here's my second channel debunk. I'm not going to be doing debunks on the main channel anymore. YouTube is a little bit edgy with how edgy you can be, right? So like, I don't want to risk getting like demonetized in the future or anything. So this channel will just be for more passion projects and stuff like that. So if you did enjoy, maybe consider subscribing, and maybe some more stuff like this will be in the future. And thanks for Webcam Parrot being here. I will link his channel in the description. So other than that, have a good one.